Hey everybody, on a previous video I showed you how to create a web API. In this video I'm going to show you how to set up an app service on Microsoft Azure and deploy that API onto that container. For this video I'm going to assume that you already have a Microsoft account, and if it's the first time that you're logging on, you will probably not see all these icons across the top. So I will not click directly on app services because you'll probably not see that icon right away. So I will not click directly on app services. I'm going to go ahead and pretend I'm a new user and I'm coming onto Microsoft Azure for the first time. So let's go ahead and click on create a resource. Then I'm going to click on add a web application. If you got this far, you should already have a subscription set up. So mine, the one that I usually use, it's already selected. You will probably need to create a new resource group. And let me explain what a resource group is. A resource group is a group, well, pretty much the name says it, a group of resources. And the reason why you want to use a resource group is to be able to track the costs that you're incurring on the month-to-month basis. For example, you might have an application that consists of 3 different components. You might have a front end, a back end, and a database that you are hosting on Microsoft Azure. So what you want to do is put them together and be able to track how much it's costing you to run this application. And that's what I've done with some of the applications that I have in production. I'm tracking the costs by creating a resource group for each of the applications. So for this video, I'm going to use resource group that I already created. The next field is the application name. So we are going to call it deploy tutorial. As you can see, this name is available. And this is the domain where it's going to be hosted by default. So deploytutorial.azurewebsites.net. We are going to be deploying code. We are going to select ASP.NET 4.7, which by default runs on Windows. And we are going to select a data center located in the west coast of the United States. Let's go ahead and create a new service plan. And here is where you need to be careful. Here, if you leave this setting as is, which is a default, it's going to cost you $55 a month to run this application. So let's go ahead and change that. Let's go to Dev and Test. Let's select the free tier and apply. So one of the limitations you have when you create a free tier service here is that you only have 60 minutes of compute time per day. So that should be enough for you to be able to do your dev testing. And once you're ready to move this application to production, you can select one of the higher tiers and get better performance without any limitations. So let's click apply and let's click review and create. Okay, everything looks good. And let's click create. This is going to take a few moments to get the environment set up and ready. So I'm going to fast forward here. Okay, it looks like it has finished deploying. So let's go to resource. Okay, everything looks okay. Here they're giving you some of the information. This is going to be your FTP username if you want to deploy using FTP. This is going to be the URL you would be deploying to. And by default, it's going to assign the name we gave the application and the default domain name. This is what the placeholder looks like. Let's go ahead and get some code deployed. Now let's move on to Visual Studio. I already have the application open, or the web API that we created on the previous video. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, I'm going to include a link down below so you can go ahead and watch it and kind of get caught up. I'm not going to get into detail on this, so please, if you want to get caught up, please go ahead and watch the video. Let's run it just to make sure that it's running properly. By default, it goes to the weather forecast endpoint, but let's go ahead and navigate to the endpoint that we created. There you go, simple hello world. Okay, it looks like it's still running properly. I'm already logged in onto Visual Studio. Visual Studio gives you the ability to link your Microsoft account, which is the same account you use to log on to Microsoft Azure, to simplify the process of deploying an application to Microsoft Azure. You might have to go through the login process, which is not very difficult to do, but I already done it on this machine, so you're not going to be able to see it happening, but it's as simple as logging on to your Microsoft account. The way we publish to Microsoft Azure is by right-clicking and selecting Publish. In this case, we're going to use Select Existing, meaning an existing application on Microsoft Azure. Let's create a profile. Here is my account. I'm going to select the proper subscription. I'm going to select the resource group. Actually, you can see all the available ones. So I created these new app service under tutorials. And you can see it there, deploy tutorial. I'll select that and click OK. So there you go. It already downloaded the publish profile and everything that I need to get to be able to publish my web application onto that. Let's go ahead and click on Publish. At this point, what Visual Studio is doing is copying the files over to the app service that we created. Okay, let's navigate to API hello. There you have it. That's how easily you can use Microsoft Azure to deploy your web applications or your web APIs with a single click. Now, let's say that you make a change to your application, right? So let's go here and make a change. Let's add an extra exclamation mark. So there you go. You made a change to your web application. Now you want to deploy that. You right click, you click publish and publish again. And you navigate back to that URL, you refresh, and there you go. You have an extra exclamation mark. If you found this video useful, please subscribe so we can let you know when we publish new videos. Thank you.